event that compromises the security of a system, data, or network. Examples of um, examples are like unauthorized access, malware infection, data breach. Now, let me give you a scenario. A scenario is where someone logs into your account without permission. You didn't give or you didn't grant a person permission to your account and the person just gained access. Now, a security incident is any event or series of events that compromises or threatens the confidentiality, the integrity, or availability of an organization, information, system, or data. Anything that can threaten an organization data in terms of confidentiality, integrity, or availability is known as a security incident. Now, please let us note that not all problems are security incidents, but anything that affects security is, I don't know if you got that, not all problems are incidents, but anything affecting security is anything that can affect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of a data is called a security incident. Now, before we move into incident response, I would like us to talk about a major security breach. One major security incident breach is known as Snowflake data breach, which occurred in 2024. And in this security breach, attackers gained access to customers' credentials from multiple organizations using compromised credentials. The breach highlighted the importance of strong authentication mechanisms, such as multi-factor authentication and proper identity access management to protect cloud environments. Now, what this breach taught us was that it shows that even large organizations are not immune to incident breach. I don't know, please, can you guys still hear me? I should know if I'm not just talking to myself.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
We can hear you.
okay, thank you. Okay, so what this breach, what it taught us was that enabling multi-factor authentication and proper identity access management. What I mean by proper identity access management is just that. Okay, let's say for instance, in a company, multiple individuals have access to alter the credentials of a customer. It means that the company is not operating on a role-based kind of access, meaning that when I mean role-based kind of access, for sensitive data like that, it means that it should only be an admin, an authorized user, probably a senior security engineer that should have access to that data, meaning that other individuals that work in that organization should not be able to have access to the data. Okay, the next thing we'll be moving on to is consequences of data breach. The first one is financial repercussion. So when incidents happen, they don't just affect systems, they affect business. So when I mean financial repercussion, it means that they'll be facing like fines, recovery, and costs. Like definitely they are going to face legal consequences. So they will be fining them. And let me give you a scenario for a bank now. Should a bank experience a data breach and the attacker was able to gain access to the data and was also able to get some funds from multiple accounts. Now, the financial repercussion is going to be on the bank because I mean, there's no customer that will come and want to be hearing that his money is no longer available due to a data breach. So is the company that is the bank, is that particular bank that will have to bear the loss of what happened. So that is what we mean by financial repercussion. Now, in terms of reputational damage, now it takes a lot for people to trust a particular organization. If they should hear that the company recently encountered or um, the company recently faced a data breach, the company reputation will be damaged. Because, I mean, if let's say a company is doing well, definitely I can recommend it to a person, another person too can recommend it to another person if the person has seen the work. So you are just like painting good for the organization, but should in case the organization is not doing well, if I should ask my friend that Alpha, is this company doing well in terms of what they do? I'll just tell the person that no, 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 they're not doing well. Don't near that place. So if you want your data or your funds to be safe. So that is one of the consequences. That is reputational damage. Then operational disruption. If the data breach is quite severe and the company is not able to bounce back, it might cause, or it might allow the service to stop. So that's what we mean by operational disruption. Now, moving on to incident response. Incident response refers to the organized approach that an organization uses to prepare for, detect, and respond to cybersecurity incidents, such as data breaches or cyber attack. Now, the scenario I would like us to make use of is firefighters responding to a fire. When firefighters are responding to a fire, they have different teams. They have the person that is going to drive the car. They have the person that is going to be in charge of putting out the fire, and they have a particular team as well too that will be checking. If let's say for instance there are still people that are inside that building, as a person is trying to extinguish the fire, there's going to be another set of individuals that are going to go inside to check if individuals or civilians are still there, so that they can be able to like rescue them. Now, taking it into cybersecurity, a cyber attack or data breach can cause huge damage to organizations and potentially affecting its customer brand value, intellectual property, and time and response. Now, what incident response tries to do is that it aims to reduce the damage an attack causes and helps the organization to recover as quickly as possible. Its incident response mainly involves detecting a security issue, analyzing it, and containing the threats while removing it and restoring back to normal operations. So the basic analogy is just like how firefighters respond to fire. Cybersecurity teams respond to attacks. Now, the analogy that I gave that different teams usually respond to a firefighting incident, like a fire outbreak. That is the way cyber security teams to respond. There are some people that are on the defense, that are also on the lookout to always ensure that okay, nothing in the system is vulnerable. There's proper identity access management. There is firewall that is blocking and restricting individuals from. So let's say, for instance, now a company if they have a firewall. The basic thing that the firewall does is that it tries to filter ingoing and outgoing traffic. So it tries to like block and filter the ingoing and the outgoing traffic in a network. So now the importance of moving on to the next slide, importance of incident response. It is vital for organizations to be fully prepared before an incident occurs to limit the success and damage of a potential attack and maximize their response. With cyber attacks increasing in frequency, scale, sophistication, an incident response plan plays an increasing role in organization information system. So the basic thing is just that without proper response, even a small attack can become a major disaster. The thing is just preparations determines how well you will survive in an attack. Okay, now let's just look at this scenario. Now, a person receives a malicious mail. Now, instead of the person, when a person should receive a malicious mail, the person should not even think of clicking on the link, not to talk of trying to log in. So let's just go along with this scenario. A user receives a phishing email, clicks the link, enters his login details, The moment you enter your login details, it means that attackers have been able to grant access. Then it means that the system is already compromised. Now, to make it a little bit more interactive, what do you think? At what point do you think that the individual should have stopped? Please, can anyone answer that?
For me, I think when it involves entering your credentials, so at that point, the person should pause.
Okay, thank you, Chibuna. So, as Chibuna said, when a person should receive when a person receives a malicious email, the person should
Sorry, can
and
I go in?
yeah, you can go on. Thank you, bro. I'm
Okay,
listening.
yeah. In a company setting, when you receive an email, first thing you want to check is the where is it coming from? Is it the official domain that you are familiar with, or something as simple as maybe where there is an I, you now find the E. A slight difference in the domain you are used to is the first red flag. Then you want to check the such fields like SPF, things like that, to make sure that it's coming from a genuine source, DPKM or something like that. You will find those fields in your email boxes to confirm that okay, this email does not have any malicious history, intent, or where it's coming from. So that's just one.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I think Mr. Adeyemi has pretty much explained everything. So the next thing we'll be looking at is incident response life cycle. Now, before I explain it, I want us to know that this um this process is like a continuous process. Like from the first stage up until the last stage, it is a continuous process. Now, the first stage is preparation. The preparation means that you should always be ready before attacks happen. When I say before attack happens, before attack happens, you should have the tools, you should have the training on how to respond to that attack, and also you should have the readiness. Should in case the attack should happen, how are you going to respond to it? That is like what I mean by readiness. Now, in terms of the next stage is detection. How you identify the attack, and identify suspicious activity. The next one is the containment. You stop it from spreading. Stop spread, like isolating infected system. Now, let's say a scenario is whereby a person laptop has been infected and the person is connected to a local host. When you want to contain it, the best thing is to remove that laptop from the network to prevent other network to prevent it from spreading to other networks. Now, moving on to the eradication, that is where we remove malware or attackers' access. We remove the threat. Now, the next step is to restore system back to normal. Now, the last one is post-incident activity. This is just like a self-reflection of okay, what are the lessons that we have learned and the things that happened. There are some instances where zero attack can happen. So we always try to like, okay, do a self-reflection that okay, how can we prevent such incidents from occurring? That particular scenario of incident, how can we prevent it from occurring? Now, the process is a continuous one, as I said earlier on, and it's not a one-time thing. It is like a loop, like always evolving and continuous. Now, what happens after an incident? We investigate what has happened. Okay, what has happened? How did it happen? Was there? You can just ask the question that was there a compromised staff in our midst that, or was there a person that clicked on a malicious link that he was not supposed to click on? Then the next thing is just to fix the vulnerability After finding out what has happened, then we update security policies. Now, the training of staff is a very, very important role because um, it's always important for self-awareness. Like the staff should always be self-aware that, okay, what are we supposed to do? What are the necessary things that we are supposed to do? What are we not supposed to do? So the real learning happens after the attack. Every incident is a lesson. Now, security, how to prevent incidents. We make use of, in order to be able to prevent security incidents, we make use of strong passwords plus multi-factor authentication. An example of a strong password are the use of numbers, characters, and special characters, like all these slash, hyphen, exclamation mark. Then regular updates. It's always important if, for instance, we see an update for probably an application software or a system software. They are known as patches. It's always important for us to update our system. Employee awareness, I already mentioned it earlier. It's always important for us um to allow our employees to be self-aware of their surroundings and always be cautious of whatever they do. Backup data. Then it is always important, should in case a company should experience data loss, it is always important to have backup in the cloud. Then it is always important also to monitor the system and enforce access control. As I said earlier on, it is important for each company to always have a rule-based kind of access, should in case, so that no anyhow staff can just have access to sensitive data. Security is a combination of people, process, technologies. Prevention combines people, process, and technology. Now, part of the ways to prevent incidents is like a firewall. A firewall is basically a network security device or system designed to monitor and filter ongoing and outgoing traffic in the network based on a predefined set of rules. I'm not going to waste much time on that because I already spoke on that earlier on. Now, the next thing that we are going to talk about is intrusion detection system and intrusion detection prevention system. This is like IDS and IPS. Now, what is an intrusion detection system? The basic analogy is that an IDS detects attacks, then an IPS, it blocks attacks. I'm just going to explain a little bit more. Now, an intrusion detection system is a security tool that monitors network or system activity to detect suspicious behavior or potential threats. Now, what it basically does is that it analyzes traffic and system and it dictates an alert. Now, what it does is that after it dictates, it alerts maybe the security administrator that, okay, this is something that I've been able to discover. Then it's going to call the attention of the security administrator. Now, taking it to an intrusion prevention system, it not only detects but also take the necessary actions to block or prevent it. Now, the difference between both is that an IPS detects and prevents, then an IDS, it only detects and alerts the user. Okay, the final thought is that cybersecurity attacks are unavoidable, but how we respond determines the damage. Preparation is like our best defense. So I'll be taking questions. Please, do we have questions?